Welcome, everybody, to the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. It's been a fantastic week, and before we get started, I want to read this off. We got a super chat while we were not live yet. What is that? The pre-going live from Drew Stanek, who says, Wingman for 22 months. 24 will be the real celebration. Missing the live shows, but keeping up on Spotify, GeForce Now, plus Game Pass on a Pixel 9 Pro XL is bliss.
Wow.
That would be bliss. Absolutely. So thank you, Drew Stanek. You're listening to this. Thank you for listening, and thanks for dropping that in live chat, even though you can't make it. Welcome, everybody. Everybody who's live on YouTube, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Speaking of GeForce Now, Jordan the Man just got a server in his PC, basically.
Yeah.
The upgrade? We'll call it the upgrade?
Yeah, he got a 4080?
Ti, right?
Super.
Or super. That's right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I held that thing, and it's bigger than my wiener.
It's David.
It's sizable,
I took a
dude.
picture. It's David's shoulder width.
It's girth, like I said, slightly bigger than my wiener, which is surprising.
When you buy it and you come home and it doesn't fit in your current tower, and you have to go buy another tower.
I think it was like 2.5 millimeters. I was like, ugh.
I helped them install it. It is huge.
Dude.
Graphics
It comes
cards,
with its own hood stand. Like, you know when you lift up your car and you got to put the little hood stand there? It comes with its own hood stand.
so to secure it in the tower. Graphics cards have gotten so large.
Dude.
Well, do you remember,
I was blown away at that thing.
everything's gone in reverse. Do you remember when everything just like phones would get small, like everything would get smaller,
Now
and
we're
then
going
now
back
it's
up.
just like everyone's like, well, why?
Why?
Why did we
Bigger's
ever do
better.
that?
It's progress. If you want more power, you make it bigger.
Yeah. Well, do you think there was? I mean, what year was it where it clicked and they're like, why are we doing that? Like, it would be a lot cheaper just to put it in a normal sized thing. You know?
Well, I think it was like when the original iPhone came out, they tried to get it smaller and smaller, and then it was just like, nah.
I was like, I can't see this thing.
Yeah, then Tim Cook got involved. He's like, no, we want it bigger. So phones are bigger. And now graphics cards, like really, how they're making them more and more powerful is you're just putting 2, 3, 4, smash them together, and that's what they are.
Together. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
huge. It's huge. Anyways.
It's massive.
Well,
anyways,
we had to get a. Well, I guess we technically didn't have to get a new power supply for it. I didn't realize. So the graphics card, its recommended minimum is an 850 watt power supply. That's what I had. For some reason, I thought I had lower, so I just went and bought a 1,000 watt one.
Yeah.
And we found out it could. That 1,000 watt power supply can supply like a small country in the Middle East. Like
There's a lot you could.
Yeah, there was a
you
lot
could
of
supply a lot
it
of
was
power.
kind of like,
with
whoa,
1,000
hey.
watt.
Which
Yeah.
is good because that new graphics card, they have a special connector for them now. It takes a
Yeah.
takes a lot of power.
It takes 3 standard CPU slots on the power supply. So you have, in essence, three graphics cards in there.
Well, so we rent it. So it's top of the line, though. This is the top of the line.
There's
or up
one
there.
that's better than it. Which after I installed it and started playing games, I thought to myself, why didn't I just get the bigger one? You know,
It's like another $500.
I know, it's like, well, yeah, but I mean, I was already,
You were
like,
already committed.
Yeah, it's like, why
Okay.
didn't I just, why didn't I just get the 4090? It has 32 gigs of RAM in it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's I'm jealous.
No, yeah. So David and I actually tested it against.
Yeah, because who was talking about
NVIDIA.
GeForce Now? Oh, Drew Stanek. Talking about GeForce
So
Now.
GeForce Now is a phenomenal service.
Phenomenal.
I've recently been introduced to it like a month and a half ago.
Phenomenal. But we
That
compared
service is the reason I bought this car.
Yes.
By the
So
way.
I was like, well, let's see if you got ripped off or not. And this is how good GeForce Now is. It's comparable
Yeah.
to Jordan
Now-
Man's. What really stands out on the local graphics card, though, is it's bright and clear. Like, clarity is unreal. Versus there's like some artifacting in dark and stuff on
It's just not as
on the stream, but it's like right there.
The local,
It's really
the
close.
local card is better when you put them
Yeah.
next to it. We tested Cyberpunk because it's just a decent test.
Yeah.
So the local card is better, but like David said, so we were on NVIDIA now, which is really good. If you've not been on the card, you wouldn't know the difference. So
Yeah.
we were playing, it was good. There's a part where we ran through a door and there was gunfire and then mist coming down. And we ran that same thing.
Ran it over and over.
And it looked really good. And you're like, whoa, okay, that looks really good. We ran it on the local graphics card instead of through NVIDIA. And it's just, it's like you said, I think clarity is the best word for it because
clarity?
The blacks were black.
Like everything was
like
much more
mist,
vibrant.
it was like, whoa, you could see the crisp of the mist, crisp and clarity. So it's really just clarity. But the thing is if we didn't do that, you wouldn't have known. Like, and that's why the GeForce Now is
GeForce Now is phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely. I do want to shout out Warren Cooper. He just gifted 5 XoneBros memberships.
All right.
Huge shout out to our Australian, our brother from another mother, Down Under.
Also,
Down Under mother.
I would like to throw this out.
Yeah.
Epic settings on Overwatch getting around 300 frames.
Oh.
But it was between like 290
I
and
walked
330.
in. I was like, "What is that?" I was like,
Yeah,
"What
on
is
Epic
that
settings.
smell?" It smelled like something was burning, and it was Jordan's monitor smoking. It was just on fire.
And I'm finally using the full capability of my monitor. It's only 165 hertz, but I've never been able to punch it that high.
Speaking of that smell, David, I actually had a graphics card catch on fire.
Yeah, I remember.
While I was playing in a match that
Heroes of the Storm.
It was a team game. Jordan was, they were counting on me.
Yeah,
I was able to pop open it, take out the card on fire, put in on my old card, put it back on, and join the same match.
Yeah, it was.
I cannot let my teammates down.
I do want to do 2 more shout outs. We got 2 more super chats. We got Adidas20. What up, brothers? He's a Wingman member for 11 months, tier 1. And also Reactor Leak, dude. Atriox for 50 months. He says, greetings from PAX Prime West, home of David's Girth. Yes, it is. Yeah. It is. That's right. Reactor Leak is at PAX Prime West is this
in
weekend.
Seattle.
So Reactor Leak has promised to send us pictures. Very excited.
Cool.
Very excited for him.
You know what's cool about Seattle that I didn't know? And it's mostly just like the conversation.
When you go there, if you've showered, you're legitimately the best looking person in town.
Oh yeah, because you had yeah.
That was my experience.
Yeah, when you went.
No offense to anyone in Seattle, but there's like a vibe there, man.
I have been there, and I know exactly what you're talking
It's
about.
like an anti-shower vibe.
Didn't you go just after like the fall
bro.
of Chaz?
I went after the fall of Chaz.
So you probably had a few lingering.
In fairness, it was probably some Chazites.
Yeah.
That's funny. Anyone who's been there understands exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I wonder
Which is really weird because then you go like right downtown and like Amazon headquarters are there. There's like this bubble that's really cool. You got Starbucks there. You've got like all these way cool things. And then you're walking around, you're like, does no one here shower?
Yeah. Well, it rains every day, doesn't it? I mean,
I guess
maybe they count that.
They let the rain nourish their body.
Yeah.
Natural. Who needs the shower when the rain nourishes
Do you think
their body?
like one day historians will compare like the fall of Chaz to the fall of Rome?
Chaz was like Rome.
You know, like it fell from within.
I mean, they were conquerors like Rome. Yes,
and they
took over a park.
They put up walls.
Taking over a park is equivalent.
They were
to,
really,
taking over the known world and ruling it for centuries.
Hey man, they had like strong borders, like checkpoints. They were really rude to non-Chazians.
They murdered people. They had strong borders while protesting borders. They got rid of the police. They were anti-police while creating their own police force. It was literally the South Park episode?
where it was like, we just need someone that makes bread.
You know, man.
And someone to watch over and protect.
Oh, you like a policeman?
No, man, you haven't had your eyes opened by your professors yet. In college.
Yeah. Anyway,
Seattle's a cool city, though.
Well, no.
Super
So
cool
anyway,
city.
going back to the original thing. So I learned this like probably a year or two ago. I didn't realize like Seattle was built on top of another city.
Yeah, I never got to go to like the underground, but I hear it's quite a spectacle.
I just want to know how that conversation went. Like, were there still people like living in the city, and they're like, let's just build a new one?
That was the first Chaz.
Like it's like
isn't this the story of Waterworld?
That was the first Chaz. The story of Waterworld.
Yeah. Well, I don't know like the full history. I know like one of the reasons they built it is because they built their city like on the ocean below it, and they're like, that turned out to be a bad idea.
Maybe I don't know exactly.
But can you imagine? Like that makes me laugh. Like, can you imagine just like walking out one day and then there's just like a crane putting concrete in the sky, and you're like, what?
What
Just
is
a new
this?
city.
Actually, isn't this Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Midgar.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
Yeah. They
Is
just build on
Seattle
top.
is Seattle Midgar? You know. Anyway, I just thought that would be funny,
It would
and
be.
it feels like something I would do in City Skylines. And we're running out of room. Let's just build on top of these people.
I guess. Anyways, Reactor League is there and is going to send us pictures. I'm very excited for. I'm surprised we don't get any. What's interesting is Gamescom has become this. Gamescom is the new E3.
Well, yeah, because I think it's like the next big one. You know what I mean? Like
Well-
there was E3 and then there was Gamescom.
So really, what happened? Whoever owned E3 just messed up. They done messed up
I mean, it makes sense.
I mean,
because
makes
clearly, like Xbox wants a place to showcase their stuff, so they chose Gamescom. It's not like they did their own thing. They were like, "Yeah, let's showcase Gamescom."
Well, and
so
it was
E3
kind of like
just messed up.
Well, it's kind of like
whoever ran it.
It was also like E3 was like the West, you know,
Yeah.
because it was in North America.
Yeah.
And then Gamescom, it was in Europe. It was in Germany, right? You know, so I
Cologne,
think, you know,
Germany, right?
yeah.
It might be the location though. Let's be honest. Los Angeles, where it's at, is not the like most travel friendly. Plus,
And their internet
Plus, then you had
sucks.
COVID.
And not to mention, like in our short 3-block walk to the convention center when we went, there were a lot of crazy people.
I mean, a lot of them were attendees, but yes.
Like, well, do you remember we made friends with that guy from like where was he
Bethesda.
from? Yeah. He was like a Bethesda guy, and we made friends with him because like he flocked to us for protection because there was some nutso.
Yeah, when
like,
there's nutsos, the normies come
yeah,
together.
it's like, hey, come with our group. You're obviously
Yeah.
not with him. Like this guy
Normie-
was nuts.
Everyone instantly looks up and looks around. Normies. There they are. There's my tribe.
Remember, he didn't he say like, hey, I'm gonna walk with you guys.
Yeah, I remember that,
And
yeah.
then that's when we started talking
And we're
to
like,
him.
we got you, man.
Yeah,
We got you. Where's Skyrim?
yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was
Yeah, Reactor League brings up a good point. Surprised there's nothing like it in Silicon. I mean, there's what is it? The game developer GDC is there, but GDC is not.
thought GDC
is
was-
not E3.
I thought GDC was in Vegas. No.
No, GDC. No, that's CES.
Oh, CES. Okay, it's
No,
too many
GDC.
acronyms.
Vegas. Honestly,
There's a lot of acronyms.
Vegas is
Yeah.
the best place for conferences. It's cheap. It's easy to fly in. They've got all of the.
Well, have you ever seen like the
resources.
flight maps?
And everybody,
All go. The world goes into Vegas.
there's something to do for everybody in
Yeah.
Vegas.
Resonate says I always took a vacation for E3. That's what it was becoming for us. It was like this tradition.
Yeah, we went twice, didn't we?
Twice. We went twice in 3 years, I think, is how it ended up.
And the
working.
second time, I remember we stayed at a much better hotel, so we didn't have to deal with the crazies.
we paid more money to stay right across the street.
It's worth it to not deal with crazies.
And we had like a corner room too. We
Yeah, it
could
was
see
cool.
the whole thing.
Yeah,
That was cool.
our window was looking at the Microsoft theater.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah. I have been to GDC. I was at GDC like Reactor League. I was at GDC like a year ago. No, a year ago
I don't know.
or 2 years ago. I don't remember. I don't remember. Anyways, what are we? Let's talk about Final Fantasy, shall we? And Final Fantasy. So it looks like it's coming to Xbox.
That's the big rumor.
That's the big rumor.
Yeah.
Looks like
Mostly-
the rumor is that it's going to come to Xbox and be announced at the Tokyo Game Show, which makes a ton of sense.
Mostly because Yoshi P said we're gonna bring more games to Xbox.
And we're also having a ton of success with Final Fantasy Online. It was like a test. He said it was a test for us.
Yeah, and he said, and then he talked about like Xbox and Phil Spencer like really wanting it to happen, so he wants to. And well, it all makes sense because I was just looking up today. I think I still have it pulled up. So this is May 1st of this year.
Yeah.
Yahoo Finance came out with their thing.
right?
Square Enix announced 140 million in losses
The only game,
due to content
the
abandonment. and
only
stuff like
game
that,
that
right?
was profitable for them, numbers wise, was Final Fantasy Online,
Yeah.
and that's because it's everywhere. And that was what a lot of analysts were saying and going through the Square Enix numbers, basically saying, yeah, the sticking to one console is not working for this third party. It's, the age of that is probably going to be over. It's probably
Yeah.
harder to see. Although, come to find out, it does look like the reason that we don't have what's the new game, Black Wukong?
Yeah, Wukong, Black Myth Wukong.
Black Myth Wukong.
Which, by the way, according to IGN, is only 1 point better than Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Is that not funny?
Yeah, that's a lie.
It got an 8. And
IGN America.
Outlaws
IGN,
got 7.
I think IGN China gave it a masterpiece. Which, you know,
But Black Wukong, come to find out, looks like it's not tech issues that they're not on the Xbox. PlayStation paid them money for a timed exclusive.
Well, why would it be tech issues?
Also,
That's what
Concord got a 7.
That's what it was. Concord got a 7.
Dustborn got a 7. So Wukong is 1 point better than Dustborn.
Dude.
Is that not great?
Dude, how about, though, Concord's numbers? Those numbers are jaw-dropping.
Oh, like
I
max peak, I think it's now at 687.
Well, I mean, to be
I think
fair,
it's 695. I think they went up by 5.
to be fair, those are
In fact,
just
what are they right now? What is it right now?
those are just Steam numbers. We do have the PlayStation. I'm sure there's maybe a couple dozen there.
Yeah.
So
that hurts though, man. That's what,
I know you kind of feel bad for the developers.
we don't really know the numbers, but it's estimated between 50 and 150 million to make that game, and and 400 people are playing it.
Where does it? Steam charts? Is that where?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Well, and then there was just the announcement that Sony is price hiking the PlayStation 5. Now, they were saying because of Concord. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. I don't know if that was ever confirmed or not, but it does suspiciously line up.
I mean, the thing is, though, like other games have that number, but they're single-player games.
When you're all-time peak,
660 is the all-time peak.
For those that don't know, Concord is basically Overwatch. So it's a multiplayer. It's an
I would
Overwatch
say it's more Destiny. It's Destiny. It plays like Destiny.
that was a Destiny inspired by Overwatch.
Yeah, okay, I would say that. Yeah, a hero shooter, a light hero shooter, Destiny.
So it's basically the point is it's a multiplayer game.
Let's pull up gameplay. We'll come back to Square Enix, everybody. We'll come back to it.
It's a multiplayer game, and when you're all-time peak, now this is just Steam, so we don't know the PlayStation numbers, but 660, that is
660 all-time
is
peak.
the all-time peak.
21 minutes ago, there was only on Steam 146 people playing.
In contrast, I think Wukong has 30 plus million.
It broke records. It's number
30
2
million.
on Steam.
Like 25 million, 30 million active players.
So it was the only game to hold its record is PUBG, and to be honest, I don't know if that'll ever be beaten. But Wukong is number 2 now for like its all-time peak.
No, I think it's not like
No. So you look at the all-time peak, or you can look at the list, David.
2.4 million.
Yeah. So
there's a
PUBG,
comma. Back
Yeah.
one. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
PUBG, I think is 3-something million.
Okay, 2.4 million all-time peak. But, so, 146 people playing Concord, 343,000 playing Black Myth Wukong.
And keep in mind, there's also Black Myth Wukong on the PlayStation 5, which you would have to think is also very popular.
So, some people might be listening to this and be like, well, why are you guys talking about Black Myth Wukong and Concord? Like, who cares? Why the comparison here? Jordan, would you care to explain?
Well, because one game's good and one game is not.
No. But one game unfairly targeted.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when you're a news organization and you literally mistranslate and lie about what the developer said, I would call that targeting.
Yeah. So what happened? To wrap all this up for those that may not know. So Black Myth Wukong and IGN was it IGN? It was IGN. An IGN reporter mistranslated a post from a developer because they're Asian. Are they Japanese or Chinese?
No, they're Chinese.
Chinese. So they're a Chinese developer.
That's why it's odd that everybo's kind of like.
We oddly support the
we're
Chinese
like
on this one.
Yeah, we're like, all right, we
We don't normally do this.
but
Leave it to IGN to make everybody support
to get the
CCP.
world. Yeah, to get the world.
Okay, yeah, continue.
So IGN, a writer for IGN, came out and basically said that the working conditions are terrible, and then mistranslated a post from a developer, from a manager or something. I don't know. He was something like a hiring manager.
I think he was like one of the heads.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
He was pretty top notch.
and mistranslated it because this was a Chinese. Mistranslated to basically make it look like he was super sexist.
Yeah.
And super misogynistic, and like there was sexual harassment going on and stuff. Yeah, it wasn't correct.
Come to find out, none of that was true.
None of
because
it was correct.
First of all, it was mistranslated, and then it was I don't know what we call. What do we call it in
purpose.
English? It was. Yeah, I think
That's
it was.
the
I think it was
worst.
mistranslated on purpose. And then what is it? It was basically like was what he said crude? Yeah, probably right. But it was said in the context Like, what would we call it in English? Like, if me and David were playing Madden together,
It's like a funny saying.
and I ran up the middle, and I was like, Dad, suck my balls, David. Run on this, Like, that was the equivalent.
But it wasn't that crude.
But it wasn't that crude even.
I don't find that crude.
No. But mistranslated. Then his apology. So this is IGN.
Yeah, his
He's still
apology.
working for IGN, by the way.
His apology.
His apology was basically, yes, I may have mistranslated it, but, and then it was like one of those. Like it was a non-apology, weakest, softest apology.
What was really funny is, so the whole story was a sham.
Yeah.
Everyone found out it was a sham, and IGN and other journalists from other sites were incredibly upset that Black Myth never
They just ignored it.
They never
like, "We're not
talked
gonna
about it." Well, they
respond
said,
to
even though we said there was sexual harassment, which was a lie and not true, why didn't you answer the question? And they were like really mad that Game Science did not answer the question. Every time the question was brought up to Game Science, they literally said, "No comment, we're here to talk about the game."
Yeah.
And that
Guys,
very much upset
we're
journalists.
dealing with the East. They don't give a shit. Okay? They really don't. And rightfully so in this case. But yeah, anyways, so then Black Myth Wukong. I don't know why I can't remember that. Black Myth Wukong comes out to average reviews. People are like, meh, it's okay. Meanwhile, it's smashing records.
Mainstream journalism gave it average reviews. Anybody who enjoys playing games gave it very good reviews.
The normies. The normies have banded together.
Isn't that a
Speaking of normies,
96% positive rating on Steam?
Which is insane. Do you know what other games are at
That's hot,
90%? Like, it's the only other games to do that are, I think it was like Pal World, Terraria, and I feel like there's like one other or two other. Like
Elder Scrolls, man. Not Elder
No.
Scrolls,
There's not
Elden Ring, maybe.
Yeah, there's not very many that are above a 90% positive.
Yep. Yeah. And so that's why we're comparing it to Concord, because Concord was kind of the reverse. All of the whole gaming media backing, everybody raving about it. Yes, PlayStation, Slay Queen.
Well,
and it didn't do anything. And I said this on a video this week on my channel. Guys, I could have told you from everybody's like, was it that they charged $40 for the game? Was it that
Overwatch charged
they got
$40
accused
for a
of
few
being
years.
woke? And yeah, none of that stuff helped. But I could tell you what was wrong with the game. The first time I saw the trailer, we had the discussion on the show. I said, where does this fit in though? Like when it's the power of you're 8 years late to the market. It's not good enough to be just good. You have to set yourself apart in that genre or be exponentially better to pull people away. And they were neither of those. And so, of course, like, it's just kind of, it's like, well, why should I leave Overwatch for this? Or why should I not play Destiny
honestly,
for
this is what made me start back, and I'm playing Overwatch again.
I'm not quite Overwatch, and you're like, oh, you know what? I need some Overwatch in my life.
I bought the Battle Pass. Season 12 just came out. I'm playing that again because of this, which is funny.
Yeah, and so it's not enough just to be good when you're trying to compete. It's like World of Warcraft. If you're going to make an MMO, you can't be just as good as World of Warcraft. You have to be wildly different and set yourself apart or exponentially better.
Yeah.
And that's very hard to do. It's called first mover advantage.
And I feel like the MMOs that are successful have done that.
Have their own personality.
Yeah, exactly. Taking Final Fantasy XIV, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, there's similarities between it and Warcraft, but it is its own thing, and they're very much focused on story and RPG, which, ironically, now that Chris Metzen's back, Warcraft is starting to shift its focus more on story, and mostly because they kind of whiffed it.
Whiffed a big, huh?
The last couple, but
well, what makes it? I mean, this game does not look too bad. Like that, we're watching gameplay right now. It doesn't look.
No, everybody says it's. I mean, I've not played it
myself.
myself.
What makes it only have 600 all-time peak players? Like that's the question. Because
I think
games can be mediocre and still get more than that.
Yeah,
you know.
I think the bad press around it, leading up to it, and then remember, this is also a $40 game.
yeah. But what's funny is Black Myth is a $60 game.
Yeah, but you're appealing to a crowd that is used to this genre, or you're trying to, in my mind, that is used to this genre being free.
Watching this game and just watching it, I'll be honest, I've not played it yet. I've been
No one has. The only people on that list are journalists.
Yeah, 600 people.
It was the journalists that are reviewing it, or the streamers that Sony paid, or whoever paid to
watching
play
the
it.
game. Just watching it, it looks. I don't want to say clunky. I think that's not the right word for it. But it looks slow.
It does look slow.
Like compared,
but Overwatch sometimes looks
I don't know.
slow.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know. It looks slow and it doesn't look as smooth as Overwatch.
Well, you're watching this character that moves slow.
Maybe
there's other-
that's why.
See, but look at it. It looks and feels like Destiny gameplay.
Yeah.
That's what I get out of watching this. And
See, I
it
think
was a lot of
I think Destiny
Bungie-
gameplay looks better though.
See, the fluid motion of this character is why it looks slow. See how she's like gliding around.
Yeah.
And whoever's playing this has not chosen a different character. I can like fast forward.
But
and
like
see
if
she
I
plays
like
something
pull up,
else.
so we just watched a multiplayer. Pull up a clash match from Destiny, and let's just compare the because.
But
when you play Destiny, like Destiny looks. It looks smoother, quicker, and more cohesive.
What was the game with the announcers, the AI announcers? Remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I forget. I did play that for a little bit though, although I forgot what it was.
But I bet you that has way better numbers. The finals.
Yeah, the finals. That was it.
But the finals, like they were setting themselves apart, and this is just the play test. There we go. The finals. So the finals peak. Let's put this in perspective. Concord 200 or 690 something all-time peak on Steam charts. The finals 242,000 all-time peak. In the last hour 11,000 concurrent versus 141. Like that's the difference. And it's not like finals is a huge game, but finals for whatever reason appealed to some. But it's when you watch the trailer of finals, it's that voice, it's the live commentary as you're doing something.
But even if
I'm
you
just
pull
not
up,
sure this
I
set
feel
itself
like
apart.
I feel like if you pull even if you pull a match of the finals, the gameplay movement looks smoother and more cohesive. It just to me it looks better in those games.
Also, this person probably sucks that we're watching.
Yeah.
They've died they've died every combat interaction I've seen. So, I think do you want me to try to find better gameplay? Because gameplay I watched looked okay.
But compared to Destiny or Finals or Overwatch,
The characters look terrible in this game versus Destiny. Like
Well, just
half
the-
the
just
characters
the gameplay.
look like they have gloves and a blue jacket and they worked at Home Depot or something. These characters don't look. These characters look like they were created by AI. I don't know how else to describe it.
I don't think I think to translate that, Spicy, it's bland. Like that's it's like nothing. It's just bland.
well, we were looking at one character, and we basically compared him to Roadhog. And
That's
Roadhog,
the blue jacket guy
yeah,
that I
and Roadhog, just Roadhog's character model has more style, character, and pop.
Yeah.
Than,
Because see, like this
than
part with the
than
grenade, that looks like pretty engaging combat.
I guess we could say their version of Roadhog. And when we say Roadhog, we were just comparing two fat characters to each other.
I'm gonna find.
I just think
someone
it's.
who's
I
better
think
at
it's.
this game.
I think it was kind of the perfect storm here for Concord.
Well, and they did technically go up against Black Myth, like they were within weeks of each other.
Yeah, and also then you like. Yeah, you get involved in culture wars as a game, and I think they did everything wrong. That's
Yeah,
the
like,
guy.
look at these characters. I'm gonna go back. Like, look at these. They look terrible.
It's like in the
Look terrible.
oh yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Beast is in chat. So is Landrick. Landrick says hello, everybody. Beast says Black Wukong fighting is fun, but the difficulty curve can be a bit steep. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm actually. So right now I'm playing World of Warcraft
Because of the new expansion, yeah.
came out. So as soon as I'm done kind of doing that, which I'm getting close, I think I'm going to purchase Black Myth and play because it looks. It looks great.
So should we go back to Final Fantasy since we were
All right, so back to Square Enix.
Square Enix and Final Fantasy? Let's pull up Final Fantasy 16 gameplay because I like that a lot. While we're
Okay.
or not 16. Is that the latest one? What's the
Yeah.
one that you guys were showing me?
16 is amazing.
So
Dude, like the intro.
So rumor is that as a result of Square Enix not doing so hot, except for their Final Fantasy Online, which is everywhere, and then we know Phil Spencer was on stage last year at the Tokyo Game
Yeah,
Show
and they had that
with the head of Square Enix.
that epic three-way handshake.
Yeah, there's the epic three-way handshake, the epic three-way.
That's remake.
That we're gonna get Final Fantasy remake. We're gonna get the remastered Final Fantasy VII. We're gonna get basically all the Final Fantasies over on Xbox. So here's the thing. I was thinking, because I watched my friend stream it last week. You guys talking about it. I was like, man, maybe I'll get into a Final Fantasy game here. But at this point, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for it to come to Xbox.
Well,
baby.
so here's what I think. I honestly
This is
don't
Final
know
Fantasy
if we'll
7.
get that's 7 remake.
Okay.
I honestly don't know if Xbox will get remake or rebirth. I mean, I hope they do. I think
Yeah.
that would be really cool. I do think it's much more likely to get 16.
yeah,
I think if I were to take a guess, Yoshi P did that interview.
you want to know what I think is going to happen?
Yoshi P
After
did
your
that
guess.
interview
Go ahead. Sorry.
talking about bringing. Like you said, he talked about 14 being a test. It's being very well received. We want to basically nourish our more Xbox.
Nourish the
Yeah.
ecosystem.
So he says they're going to bring more Square Enix titles there. I think I do. I think 16 will go. I think they'll eventually they'll make an announcement. 16 PC and Xbox.
I like it.
But now, as for 7 and 7 Rebirth, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
I
on those
think
ones.
whatever comes to Game Pass.
I agree, actually. I think so, too.
Yeah, they're too close of a relationship. It's a giant statement
That
piece.
was an epic handshake too.
It's a giant statement piece. I think it also is something so you can go to other Japanese developers and say, look, we have Square Enix. Square Enix did this on Game Pass. Here's their numbers that we were able to do for them. Come bring your game to Game Pass, Japanese developers. Like, I think that it's all a strategic thing. You get the biggest dog, one of the biggest dogs in Japan. You get them on Game Pass. You develop this close relationship, and doors open for you. And that's so Japanese business culture is much different than American business culture. I know this because I work for a place and we're opening the Japanese market. It's all about relationships, all of it. Like it's not. Whereas here it's like, how much money, can you make me? I mean, that's part of it in Japan as well, but it's all about relationships. And that's why this Square Enix relationship, Phil Spencer being on the ground with them, developing it, I think it's going to be on Game Pass. I really do. I don't, people are like, oh, this is just a rumor. It's not. No, it makes too much sense. Where there's smoke, there's fire. We've seen the rattlings now since their earnings call. And even before that, other games, Capcom games have been coming to Game Pass for a bit now, and I think Square Enix is going to be a big one. I think Final Fantasy.
Well, and we do have like all the HD remasters of like 10, 10-2, 7, 8, 9, and I think 12.
Yeah.
It's just really all the newer games that people are.
That's because PlayStation's been paying the money for those
doing
timed
those timed
And
exclusives.
so for everybody, by the way, also, why did PlayStation do the timed exclusives? Everyone that's mad that Xbox is using Indiana Jones as a timed exclusive because they clearly work. That's why. Works for PlayStation. Look, PlayStation went and got Wukong, paid for it as a timed exclusive. It works, everybody.
Well, it's planned to come to Xbox, but it's a memory leak issue that's delaying it.
Not as of today.
Yeah, no.
As of today, it's.
Oh, really? Did
it's
it just
sources saying that was fake? That is
CCP cover up.
that is a
Oh, are
cover-up,
you serious?
that they
All
got
right.
paid for exclusivity.
Oh, okay.
So maybe the deal just went through. They were still negotiating it.
They're like, oh shoot, hey, we got it.
All right, now it's exclusive.
we fixed it.
But yeah, I think it's exciting. If you could pick one, 16 or the remake, which one do you pick? You can only
Well,
say you can only
okay,
pick one.
so if I were to pick, 16 is very good. It's a little bit different. Well, see, but it's in the same vein as remake because it's anyway. If I were to pick, I would probably pick the remake series because you're gonna get more game. Because you're gonna get remake, rebirth, and then whatever's next.
Well, I would be story-wise Final Fantasy 7, boss fights Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys were showing me boss fights last week,
Yeah,
and it was. I mean,
they're hot.
they were like
They're so cool.
it was like Jordan's new graphics card boss fight level.
Yeah.
Yeah, when yourself comes and says, "You got this," and you while you're fighting, you just like you lean forward.
Well, I've told Mark, I don't know if I said it on the show. I think Clive. So everybody loves Cloud. Cloud's a fan favorite, right? I also like Squall, and I like Tight. There's a lot of characters, but Cloud is a favorite. I think Clive is probably on the same level of Cloud for me. Like I don't think one is better than the other. I think they're on the same level. They're both. I mean, their characteristics are very similar, but they're both very cool characters.
That's cool. Who's Squall?
He's in Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh,
He's Leon in Kingdom Hearts.
why'd they change his name?
I don't know.
They do what they want.
They kind of do.
do what they
Kingdom Hearts is such a hard game to follow.
Yeah,
I've tried.
Well, have you seen how many hours it takes to catch up on the storyline? Like just on YouTube, it's like 23
But-
hours.
It is the
If
most
you invest-
complex
If you invest
storyline.
if you invest your time, I mean, it's worth it. And you got to love how it came to be.
How did it come
It was
to be?
literally an elevator pitch.
Okay, okay. If you could pick out of all the Final Fantasies to come, including, well, I guess we already have Kingdom Hearts, but
Yeah, we have Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, actually, no, we have all of them.
Is the question between 16 and 7, like, are those the two marquee titles that we're missing?
Well, 7 remake.
Yeah,
because
the
we
remake.
have 7 remastered, which
Yeah.
is the old game, just HD remastered. So it's. I mean, I think we're going to get other games from them that are currently in development or currently or coming out soon. But
yeah,
but I think those are the two big ones that everybody's thinking about.
yeah. Oh, it's exciting though. It's really
15
exciting.
was fun. It was like a road trip.
The minute I had to start cooking with my friends at the campfire, I was out.
No, that was half the fun.
Uh,
And when that big guy's running on the beach with you, it just felt
the
like
car
it
was
just
cool.
felt
The
right.
car's iconic, and then I drove that car in Forza Horizon 3.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
But I
The
was,
Regalia.
didn't you really
Regalia,
like 8,
yeah.
Jordan? Wasn't 8 your jam? Isn't that your
I
favorite?
liked 8, so I know I really enjoyed it. I mean, I like that. Like, I think 10 is very good. I'm not a big fan of 10 2 because 10 was in my mind like it's like if they made Lord of the Rings 4. Like the trilogy was perfect. Don't add another. You know what I mean? Not to say 10 2 was bad. Like it was fine, but in the context of 10 and 10 2, like 10 was good. I don't think they should have made 10
Okay,
2.
so anyone thinking that this is not true, that we're not going to see it.
Yeah, but the thing is
Well, we have the quote. Let
Yeah,
me.
it's
yeah,
literally
yeah,
from
pull up the
like
quote.
it's from Yoshi P. Like he is the Square Enix guy.
Will you read that quote for us, Spicy?
With the Japanese accent or
No, not with Japanese accent.
Okay. With Final Fantasy 14 as an opportunity, we can take this opportunity to strengthen the community on Xbox towards the Final Fantasy franchise. I think this is where we would take more communication and work on establishing the community moving forward. And this is important, not for Final Fantasy 14, but I would say for Square Enix.
Boom. Basically, we're using it as a test. We're setting it up.
Yeah.
So next.
The next quote is, so with Final Fantasy 14 as the starting point, we do want to release more Square Enix games on Xbox. And there will be more of our titles released on Xbox. So I hope players will look forward to future things to come to the platform.
Now he's not specific on which game, so this could mean anything. Maybe it's like I don't know. They have tons of games that they're probably currently working on and have worked on.
This
But I
is-
mean, you got to think.
You combine this quote though with the rumors that Tokyo Game Show is going to announce the Final Fantasies that have been missing on Xbox.
Yeah, this is
and
big.
that's why I think that it won't just be an announcement they're on Xbox. It will be that they're on Game Pass.
Okay, if you get either 16 or 7 remake, I really don't think it's going to be 7 remake. I think Sony is probably holding on to that as much as they can. 'Cause I think
I
that the
actually have-
significance
yeah.
of that game.
I
I
think
don't know.
Sony is in panic mode overall. I think they're scrambling. People would disagree with me. The Twitter spheres will disagree with me. I think Xbox is starting to hit their stride, and the flexibility that Game Pass gives you and the enticing. Like, if you're Square Enix, You get on Game Pass, that's 30 million. Boom, 30 million potential players.
Well, and if you did one of your games like Final Fantasy 16 or Final Fantasy 7, you're going to get a good chunk of that 30 million.
Yeah, you get 29.9.
You're obviously not going to get them all.
You get 29.9.
You'll get a good chunk of them.
Yeah.
So, and what it does, I mean, it's not, I mean, it just brings eyes to your platform. So, like, people play Final Fantasy 16, they like it. So they get excited over the next Square Enix game.
So you think that Sony's holding on to 7 with both their hands?
Yeah, I think because 7 would be, if you're not a gamer, you know about Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, because of what it did for gaming as a whole way back in, the 90s on the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Up until now. I mean, if you're not a gamer, you probably know about Final Fantasy in general, but...
Well, you know the Cloud
Yeah, you
sword.
know Cloud, the Busters. Like, there's iconic things that you look at and you go, oh, yeah, isn't that... Like, even, like, there's people that I never would have thought know anything about gaming, but they knew, like, oh, that's that Cloud guy. Like, they know Cloud.
Yeah.
So I think it's more likely to be Final Fantasy 16. But if you get either one of those, like if you say Final Fantasy 16, and David, if your prediction comes true, and you say, and it's going to be on Game Pass, that's a big win for Game Pass.
Yeah.
A big win. Because, guys, Final Fantasy 16, I think it was ACG when he reviewed it. Like, it was the best description. He says they used Epic as a baseline and then just went up.
Yeah,
And that's how that game feels.
It is phenomenal.
It's really good.
I don't like some of the travel stuff. Like the in-betweens are kind of boring. I'm going to like...
No, I think that's a fair
like,
criticism. The side quests.
Yeah.
If you do side quests, like
but
it is tedious.
To have those lulls and then hit those peaks in that game, those peaks are peaks.
Yeah, they're... Well, it makes you like... Dark Souls would do this to me. Like, From Software games do this to me. Like, you beat a boss and you're like, oh man, I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
And that's how because you're like, how are they going to top that?
Well, and like Sid, oh man. Sid's a cool character in all the Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
In this one, yeah.
No, it's when if you're...
I don't want to spoil it. It's hard because I don't want to spoil anything.
People, I mean, I don't know if like your general population knows this, but it's, and I believe they talked about this when they were developing the game. It's very inspired by, well, I don't want to say inspired, but it's very, I mean, yeah, it's inspired by Game of Thrones and the way Game of Thrones tells their story. And you can tell when you're, like, if you've seen Game of Thrones or read the books or whatever, and you're playing through, I mean, don't you get that? You're like, oh, this is very Game of Thrones-ish.
Oh, it's totally...
because of how you jump between, and there's all this Game of Thrones going on.
And what makes this game playable for a stupid guy like me is it's an incredibly complex story. There are a lot of different factions, parties, characters all over the place. This, like Game of Thrones, these families have attacked these families. This is a resource that this all these nations are going for. It's incredibly complex. But what makes this game so enjoyable is at any time during any part of the game or cutscene, you have that little button on the PlayStation controller. You press it, and a pause screen comes on, and it shows you in what you're looking at, every faction or every person, who they are, who they belong to, what their goals are, and that increases and grows as you learn more about them. But there's an encyclopedia of knowledge at any point in time.
It's like a family tree.
It's an interactive... What do they call
it? Active time lore. So, for example, if you're... Let's just take the beginning of a game, the game. There's a table, and there's a bunch of different characters meeting within this table. And they're talking about political stuff.
Yeah.
You can hit that button and it'll pop up what they're talking about. So they talk about, they say, well, this kingdom is doing this. That kingdom will be there. You can click it and get a little snippet of the kingdom.
Of the story. What's so cool, like Amazon Prime kind of does this with their shows.
Oh, like the X-ray mode?
You can pause it and then it tells you stuff about the actors and stuff like that. This is one of the best ways to enjoy a story on any platform and any medium, having it pause and then being caught up. Oh yeah, that's this person. They belong to this family. Oh, that's awesome. Imagine how like Game of Thrones would be if you could remember, with how complex things are, or any complex story. If you could disappear for 3 weeks and start the show back up, you're not like, oh yeah, who is that person? Or
it's
whatever.
what you need when all the TV shows, all the new series take 3 years in between each season.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's instantaneous, and it's while you're playing. At any time, you can press that button and be like, oh my gosh, this is... And it makes the game so much more enjoyable because you are immersed in the story now. You know everything that's going on. It's phenomenal. I think every game... It's like the ping system in Apex.
Every single player game should implement this mechanic. It's just whether people use it or not. There's probably there's probably more people that don't use it than use it, but it is a cool system.
I think like in Apex, the ping system that changed how ping works in communicating without a party chat.
That's true.
I think this is how games should go forward.
Yeah.
In Final Fantasy 16. Anyways, and
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, everybody. That does us for today's show. Actually, I was gonna make fun of Jordan a little bit for his
graphics card.
his NCAA 25 career that's happening right now.
Oh, yeah.
That was a 7 on IGN too.
But I'll refrain from liking
Everything's a 7 on IGN. I think that's actually a meme. IGN gave it a 7.
Yeah, Jordan had some frustrating week.
A tough 2 weeks. We'll see if we can bring it back this week, huh?
Yeah.
You lost? Pretty good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row.
Anyone? Not me.
You've been winning?
I've been dominating.
You're not
David
just winning, you're
David got
dominating?
ranked.
I got ranked finally. I'm about to be rank up again.
How does the ranking work in that game?
It's just like
It's real
like the top
real
25
football,
college
top
teams.
25 college teams. Yeah.
Oh. So what is your rank?
I made it to
You went
17,
24, 17.
17, and now I just blew out these losers. So Minnesota. No, who did I play this week? Not Minnesota. I blew out Penn State. Suck at Penn State.
Careful, IGN will mistranslate you. And
They just did.
Yeah, you said suck it.
But anybody, if you are interested, shout out to Soul Finder. He has been running this. It's a ton of fun. It's only one game a week, and it's a blast. I've been loving Dynasty. So there's as many teams as we can get in there. So we've got quite a few players in there already. But come join us. Let us know on the Discord is where you can get a hold of us for Soul Finder for the college football. For everybody that is a subscriber, we haven't done one in a while because it's been the summer and we've been all out of whack and schedule. We've got an after show after this, so don't go anywhere and come join us on the after show. And if you're a listener that's a member and you've missed the after shows, well then come watch it anytime, baby. There's going to be one there for you.
It's a VOD for members only on YouTube.
That is. So come join us. We haven't done one in a while because we've been all messed up with schedules, but we're back. We're back, baby. We're back.
And that's that.
Have a good one, everyone. Goodbye.
I'm walking away from so far